All right. So, hi everyone. Welcome to What Are Your Thoughts on Real Estate? I'm Cuong Chong, and I guarantee the sale of your home, or I'll buy it. So, today's guest, I met her from Craig Proctor Coaching, and she's one of the first coaches in the program that's always been very kind to me. So, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home and you don't use me, I highly recommend you use my guest, Sandy Casella. So, Sandy, can you let the listeners know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a licensed realtor. Obviously, I've been selling real estate for 30 plus years. I work in the PL Halton Hamilton area, and I also coach real estate agents as well. So I've been doing this for quite a while. Been through a few tough times as well. So yeah, that's basically where I work. We have a small team. We work with mostly residential move up buyers.
Oh, okay. So before we start with some questions, Sandy,
Yeah.
um, I just want you to know I was up really early because I was really excited for this interview, okay? And I woke up extra early to put on my face and I fixed my hair for you.
Yeah, I
That's
can
right,
see
I
that.
did that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, I just want you to know, all right?
I did mine too, like colored it and everything, right?
Oh, perfect. All right.
I even brushed it.
Yeah, you put a comb through it. I'm glad you took the effort. That's terrific.
Yes. No, I'm super excited to do this too,
Okay.
actually. I always like talking to you, Kwon.
Oh, I appreciate it. So, Sandy, let's talk about some real estate since we're both agents from different markets. I just want to know your perspective of the market and what's going on in your market right now.
So I think just before all of this stuff started to happen was a extremely, extremely strong seller's market going on. We are starting to see again about, 15, 20 offers on each listing that came out. Homes were selling really, really quickly, over asking. So they have slowed down. I won't say they haven't slowed down, but there are still people who need to sell, and there are still people who need to buy and want to buy. So there's still, there's still a market there for sure. We'll have to see how long, this drags out.
Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen in the future if if this drags on for a bit longer?
I don't know. You know what? I think it's really hard to say at this point. I think it's too early in the process to say. It's really going to depend how long it takes, how long this goes on. Because obviously, well, at the bank, as you know, probably the Bank of Canada dropped the rate again today. I think it's at 0.25 right now. So the rates are really good. There's some good opportunities out there. Um, if this drags on for a long time, I don't think, I mean, it's obviously going to have an effect on the real estate market, on the house prices.
Mhm.
But the one thing is, um, so I got my license in 1989 when the market, just before the biggest crash we've ever had. So I
Right.
basically learned to sell real estate in a down market, right? The market dropped 20% over the next 6 years. So that's where I learned to sell real estate. But there's a big difference between that market and what I'm anticipating will happen. So there's a difference between that market and what happened in 2008, what happened in 2017,
Yeah.
and what is likely to happen now. And to me, that is, at that time, there was a lot of speculation.
Right.
So people were buying houses on speculation, couldn't close them, they couldn't get financing on them. They knew that they were just going to flip them. So when that market changed, those houses had to be sold, right? So the prices had to keep going down. 2008, 2017, the reason that our market, I think, didn't suffer as much back then is because people didn't have to sell. So at some point it gets to a price where the home sellers will say, well, at that price, I'm just going to hold on and wait for a little while. And my thinking is that's what will happen this time as well. So if people don't have to move, they'll stay, they'll ride it out.
Right.
Plus with the rates being so low, I think once this gets back to normal, it's just going to depend on how many people, get hurt, how bad the economy, whatever happens to the economy. And it's pretty clear to me that that the government, like at both the provincial and the federal level, are trying to keep the economy going as best they can and trying to do what they can to keep people employed and keep people with money, which is going to help in the long run, I think. So that's my personal opinion. I think it will. I don't think we're going to get terribly hard hit. That's what I think.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. So, we've had to make some adjustments. I myself have made some adjustments with the way I operate with things such as doing video like this and marketing to different segments of the market. What adjustments have you made so far with your business since this has started?
So we've made quite a few. My team is all working remotely from home.
Yeah.
That's one adjustment that we've made, and then we're doing more video conferencing calls with buyers and sellers. We've been switching quite a while ago to paperless. We've been trying to switch for quite a while to paperless anyway. So a
Yeah.
lot of what we do with Authentisign and electronic signing and sending people documents by email, or sorry, by electronically. So
Yes.
we've been trying to do that for a little while. So the biggest change I think is just that we're meeting people online more. We
Yeah.
are still doing some face-to-face meetings if we have to, and if we're showing houses, we're very careful about not touching things, wiping things down. You know, keeping, trying to keep a distance between each other, not taking kids through houses, things like that. Asking parents if they're going to bring kids. Kids have to stay in the car. They go in one at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're basically just trying to really respect the whole social distancing at this point.
Okay. And what do you think the future is going to look like in our industry for for ourselves and other realtors?
Well, I think this will be, as you know, there's most realtors sell, between 4 and 5 houses a year. I think
Right.
the stats show the Toronto Real Estate Board, I think it's 38% of agents last year did 0 deals.
Yes.
40, about 42% of agents did between 1 and 4 deals last year. That's a huge segment of the real estate industry. So I think it's really gonna bring out the people who are true professionals.
Right.
Um, I don't know. My personal opinion about the real estate industry is it's extremely broken.
Yeah.
It needs to be fixed. The bar needs to be set way higher in this industry. There's no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
I think this will be the start of that, where true professionals will come out and start to make a difference, and people will start to see that there really is a difference between what realtors do and what they charge, and what that all means to a seller or a buyer, and that it does make a big difference. You can't just go with somebody because they're your friend or they're your relative, because it's going to hurt you in the long run.
That's totally true. I mean, this is not we're not going to enter like a hot market immediately, and definitely
Right.
you will need a professional. So I completely agree with you there.
Yeah.
So it was actually reported as of Wednesday that there's been over 1 million people that have applied for EI in the last week alone. How do you see the job loss changing like the real estate market?
I guess it's going to depend on how many of those people end up getting their jobs back. Like a lot of the people that are going on EI right now, it's not like they've been laid off permanently. These
Right.
stores have been shut. I think our premier is doing a really good job of trying to keep the economy going and hopefully get it back up and running once all of this starts to clear up a little bit.
Yeah.
So a lot of those, I just think you can only keep people home for so long. People just don't want to be home. That's just the nature these days, right? Like, so
Yeah.
as long as people have money and can keep themselves going, I think the fact that they've deferred mortgage payments is a huge, it's telling of something, right? So they don't want all of these properties going power of sale if people don't have money to pay for them.
Yeah.
So the banks are giving these deferred mortgage payments, which I think is great. That should keep people going for about 6 months. I mean, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the economy. There's no doubt about it. It's just going to be how fast we recover. And I think I just drive down the streets. There's still people out there in their cars. People want to be out. They want to be out, and they'll be out shopping. People love to shop. Out eventually.
Sandy, that's really interesting what you just brought up about our government, right? I mean, I don't think it's been said enough how hard they've actually tried to
Yeah.
to weather this storm, right? I mean, so often we bash the government. There's always going to be one side they either agree with it or the other side won't agree. But we have to give them credit where credit's due. They've actually gone above and beyond to try to help us.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm super impressed
Yeah.
about at both levels. Like I say, at both levels, at the provincial level
Yeah.
and the federal level, I'm pretty impressed on how they've handled all of this.
So am I. Like the chips are down right now, and this really shows the character of our country when we know the way we're reacting. I think it's very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you touched on a topic earlier about deferral payments, right? What do you
Yeah.
think about the deferral payments for investors? And this is a real, it's a reality, right? what about renters not paying? What do you
I
think
don't
about that?
know. Yeah, I don't know the whole story around. I haven't read the whole story about renters, so I know. Um, I would think hopefully everybody has integrity, and if they can pay, they will pay. I
Right,
just hope that people aren't taking advantage of it and saying I can't pay and just not because they think they'll get away with it.
right.
Um, I think there's got to be some repercussions about that. You know, you've got to be able to maybe, I don't know, like I say, because I haven't read the whole story. Like I
Yeah,
don't
no
know
problem.
exactly what they've said, and
Right, right,
so if I don't think it should be okay. You can't pay for the next 6 months. You don't pay. Like it's eventually you got to pay it. You got to pay it. Just like with the mortgages, they're not saying you don't have to pay for 6 months. They're saying we'll defer the payments. So
right.
hopefully that's the same thing. But if they're going to tell renters you don't have to pay, they're also going to have to help those investors weather that storm as well, because those people have to pay at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a trickle down effect for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, I was talking to some other members from Craig Proctor, and we were people were complaining about the essentials list. So I'll mention the list of essential business, right? They were
yeah.
talking about supply chain operations, retail operations that supply essentials, transportation essentials, and other retail, examples like safety supplies, hardware stores, and office supplies, um, hospitality, maintenance, media and telecommunications, transportation, manufacturing, agricultural, of course, construction, finance, and healthcare. What do you think of this list? And is there anything on it that surprises you?
I didn't read the whole list. I basically read our industry,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be honest with you. So, and I'll touch a little bit on that on the real estate industry, because I know there are some people. Sorry, this light will go off in a second. I know there are some people that don't think that the real estate industry should be essential. Um, I happen to completely disagree with that, because the real estate industry basically has kept the Ontario economy going for the past 10 years. So when you think about real estate and people buying houses, so they buy a house, they use a lawyer, they use a home inspector, they use, maybe a stager or, you know, a cleaner, they buy furniture, they do renovations. It just touches on so many different industries.
right.
I think in terms of the list and skimming over it, I think they're trying to keep the economy going as best they can. You can't, I get there has to be a fine line between the safety of people and the economy, and you have to protect the people. I totally agree, and we all have to do our part, but
Mhm.
you have to keep the economy going, because that's just going to continue to linger on if we don't try to keep it going. And I think um, the people who are working have to take it upon themselves to try to protect their customers and the public as best that they can. And I think people are doing a really good job of that. Like I go to the grocery stores, people are keeping a distance, and
Yeah,
uh, I don't think people are not. I think people are really buying into it, which I think is great. So I really truly think they have to, on some level, keep this economy going. You can't just they can't let it crash, because that's going to just continue to have repercussions. And they're going to have to do the best they can in the meantime.
yeah. Okay. Wow, that was really good. So I actually want to talk about who qualifies for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit.
Yeah,
So the benefit will be available to workers living in Canada who are at least 15 years old and who have earned at least $5,000 in 2019 or in the year before their application from employment, self-employment, employment insurance, maternity, and parental benefits and/or similar benefits paid in Quebec under the Quebec Parental Insurance Plan, or a combination of these sources, right? And are without income for at least 14 consecutive days in a 4-week period because of COVID-19, because they've temporarily stopped working, lost their jobs, are sick or in quarantine, or need to care for a child or a family member. What do you think about the Canada Emergency Response Benefit?
I,
I think it's about $2,000 that they're saying.
yeah, that's what I've heard. So I think it's $2,000 a month. I guess I think that cuts a really wide swath there of people who would qualify. So I don't know. I honestly I don't know. It's going to it's going to obviously put the budgets out of whack for sure. I just don't, I mean, that it's got to get paid for. Like, I think when people say, I think my biggest issue is I hear a lot of people saying, well, the government should do this and the government should do that and the government should give these people money and the government. But I think what we all need to understand is we are the government. We
Yeah,
are those people. Like, this money is coming from somewhere. It's got to come from somewhere, and it's going to come from people working in the future and people working before. So I just hope that people are responsible and don't take advantage of it. That's, I guess we all have to live. We all need money. We all have
yeah,
to pay our rent, and we have to, pay our mortgage, and we have to buy food and stuff. And, there's parents that have young kids at home. They got to be taken care of. So I agree, we have to take care of people. I just hope people are responsible, and, like I say, realize that when you're telling the government they should do something, it's us, it's you and me that are, it's all of us that are the government.
right. So, how has this affected you and your family?
Um, well, I mean, everybody in my family is well right now, which
That's
I'm
good.
really thankful for. With my immediate family. So my daughter came back from, my daughter was in Ireland for her placement for her last semester of college, and she came back the end of March. We brought her back early. Her and I were really nervous about what was going on, so she came back a little bit early. She can't her graduation, so she's gone through all of her years of schooling and now is graduating from college, and there's no ceremony, which is really sad. And in the whole
Okay,
scheme
yeah,
of
that's
things,
unfortunate.
that's not important really when people are dying from this. So I get that. I don't mean to make light of that at all.
Right.
Um, the rest of my family is healthy. I have to FaceTime with my grandson, with my son
Yeah,
and my
I was going
grandson.
to ask you about
I,
that.
I can't go and visit them. So I FaceTime with them, which is
Right.
really sad because I, usually would go there once a week just to kind of hang out.
Yeah.
I do have, it is affecting us a little bit in terms of my more immediate family. So I have a sister. My oldest sister is mentally challenged and not very high functioning, and recently had some health issues, and she's been hospitalized now. So
That's
I'm really nervous about that. So so we can't even really go visit her. Um, so she was taken by ambulance a few days ago to the hospital, but she's okay. She's doing okay. We're just hoping that, they can figure out what happened, because they don't know what happened to her, but we're hoping that she can get back home to her home and get taken care of there, and hope that that things don't escalate. But I have to say, the doctors where she is, she's at Etobicoke General, and the doctors where she is, they're doing a fantastic job, and they're being really helpful and keeping us up to date, because normally we would need a family member there with her 24 hours. So that's, I guess, the biggest challenge for us. But thankfully my dad's older. My dad's 86 years old, so he's kind of staying at home, which is funny because it's hard to keep that guy at home, but even he's staying at home. So it's interesting. How about you?
well, everyone's healthy,
Yeah,
so I guess we're very fortunate there. I hope your sister gets better.
thank you.
And
Appreciate
yeah, not a problem. Wow, that's crazy. That's very unfortunate here. The timing couldn't have been worse
it.
right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she'll be fine.
Okay, that's good then. Well, to something lighter, I have to ask you this.
Okay.
Were you one of the people that's been hoarding toilet paper?
I actually, no, Cuong, I haven't. And I was a little upset, not upset, but so I didn't go shopping when everybody was like, when this whole frenzy was going on and people were
Yeah,
going shopping. And I was like, what is going on here? Why are people
yeah.
like going crazy, going shopping? So I didn't go shopping at all. And then uh, late last week, I needed to go shopping because we had no food in the house. And my son was like, we really need some food. And I couldn't buy anything. Like there's the shelves are empty. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of unfair. Like I didn't go
Really?
out. Yeah. I was like, all I was looking for was like chickpeas, and I had to go to 4 stores to get stupid chickpeas. But yeah, I was a little irritated because I didn't go out when all this was going on. And now to go out, you can't, there's nothing out there. So
Don't worry, go to Chinese supermarkets. Everyone thinks they originated with the Asians. Go there. You'll be safe.
exactly.
Listen, but I was trying to make you laugh no matter what, all right?
Yeah, I know.
So, like, you know what? It is okay. This is a very interesting take that we've had, right? Because I think this is the first time we've actually applauded the government for what they did, right? But what do you think the role of the media in all this?
Oh, I don't know. I have to say, so with the government, I'll say, like, I'm not like I said before, I'm not only impressed with the people who are, not only impressed with Doug Ford and with Justin Trudeau right now, but
Yeah.
I'm impressed with all the, like, even their opposition who haven't been, just continuously ripping on them.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, I'm really impressed with that. The media, I have to say, I'm kind of disgusted a little bit, and I had to stop reading the news, which I don't normally do, but I started when all this was going on. But I had to stop and try to, I stay off Facebook as much as I can and all social media,
Yeah.
because I'm just disgusted with some of the stories that are out there and how they're like, you got to just tell people the facts. Like, that's what I want to know. I want to know, what do I need to do? And I think there's so many stories out there that just aren't true.
Right.
Or they take these one-off stories and they blow it up and make it seem like, this is going to happen all the time. So just give people the facts and the fact of the matter is, they want people to stay home because they want to lessen stop the spread of it, and
Yeah.
it will help everybody in the long run. That's the fact. That's what
Yeah.
you got to tell people. Don't scare people into thinking this is the end of the world.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Just give people the facts. So now I just go on and I learn. I look at, okay, how many new cases are there? Where are we in this? And then I get off, because otherwise it's just craziness. Some of the stories that they're
There,
spreading around.
yeah, there is a fair amount of fake news right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, can you let the listeners know what you're up to or anything that you're involved with right now, that you want to mention?
Yeah. So, okay. Well, there is one thing I'm going to mention before I talk about that, because
Okay.
there's something that's really, that really concerned me during while this whole thing is going on.
Sure.
And that is the role of, like, you know, um, I mean, I'm big on, we give money back on all of the homes that we sell for mental health research.
Yeah.
That's
Great.
something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I'm just really concerned. There's a lot of kids that are in homes that, all the schools are closed. And for some of these kids, school was their only safe haven. And now they may be in an environment that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of spousal abuse that happens, I think. And there's people who are in a situation now that, is not the house. We always think, because we're realtors, a home, like, I think a home is, the best place to be. But for some people, their house is not the safest place for them to be. And a lot of people are stuck there. And I think there's going to be a lot of repercussions around this going forward. And I think with mental health, there's going to be a lot of repercussions going forward as well with this, and people are going to need some help. So that's something that I just, really, that's what's keeping me up at night right now, believe it or not. I like those kind of things really disturb me. In terms of what we're up to, we're doing a lot more by video, and we're putting together some series with investors. So we're going to be every day doing a webinar. One day it will be with potential buyers or buyers who want to talk about the market, one with sellers, investors, as well as vendors, the vendors that we use, and coming together to keep each other going in the meantime. So that's what we're putting together now. I'm super excited about that. I think that'll be really good going forward. And I think there will be a lot of good that comes out of this. And I think there'll be a lot of ways that we have to change our businesses, and it will turn out for the better. I think we all just need to stay really positive and really encouraging of each other, and doing different things, even like this, I think is great to keep each other, going, keep our businesses going. And I think we'll all be fine at the end of the day.
Okay. That's really great, Sandy. So, like, I mean, is there any specific site that you'd want people to, take a look at for the things for your worthy causes?
Well, for our worthy cause, we support, excuse me, a charity called Hats On for Awareness. So there's on my website, on my blog, there is information about that. It's my website is sandykasella.com. So my blog is on there as well. So I talk about different things we're doing with our worthy cause. And then I think that, I would go there, look at that. And if anybody's interested in joining some of these webinars that we're doing going forward, certainly give me a call. My number is 416-467-8627. You can always email me at info@sandykasella.com. And yeah, I'd be happy to have anyone on there. It's not going to cost any money. It will just be, basically talking to buyers, sellers, and investors and vendors about what we're working on and how to support each other through all of this.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, I don't like to lose potential clients, but if I were to lose any clients, I'd be more than gladly hope that was to you, okay? So, Sandy, thank you for taking the time.
Mutual. Thank you.
Thank you for taking that time out to talk to me, but I also want to thank everyone for listening. And if you have any questions, real estate related or even about life, email me at kwongrealtor@gmail.com and I'll answer it next time. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Your Home Sold Guaranteed, or I'll buy it -Cuong, so you don't miss any episodes. All right, so see you next time, and bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.